think we're live.
Are we?
I think we are.
You are.
Okay.
It's live. It says we're live.
That's so good. Hey, everyone. Thanks for your patience. Patience is a characteristic of a teacher of God. And I'm here with the gorgeous Jennifer Hadley. And I am so excited to be here. Jennifer and I love the topic of healing. And we could talk all day about healing. We have private phone calls about healing. We just jump right into it. And she said, let's go live again. So we were on here live a couple of weeks ago with Corinne Zupko and John Mundy. And we are going to be hosting a 5-day, 4-night retreat. Is that correct? 5 days,
Yes.
4 nights. For spring clearing in Hudson Valley, New York. And Jennifer and John Mundy are also going to be doing a teacher training before the spring clearing begins. And then that's going to be from what days? Monday?
Thursday this week.
Okay, but what day does it start on with you and John?
It's the 14th.
The 14th until the 20th, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the 20th through the 24th is me and Corinne Zupko, and Jennifer and John will be there for 1 day. So it's about healing and forgiveness. There'll be Kundalini yoga, and we just wanted to come on live. I'll be taking questions from you and we'll be answering them together. And it's just such a great topic. And we just wanted to really give you a little bit of a preview of what we're going to be offering. And Jennifer, you're the pro in my mind in the prayer department. I would love if you could open us up in prayer.
Oh, I'd love to do that. So I'm going to invite everyone to place their hand on their heart. Let's just take a breath together and be grateful that we are supported by an infinite intelligence, an infinite love, and that our true nature is already perfect, our true nature is already free, and that we're coming together to accentuate our willingness to experience healing and transformation. We are grateful and thankful to come together to remember that our true identity is one with the infinite intelligence, the all in all. We're one with each other and one with all life, and we are grateful and thankful to be truly helpful, to have a conversation that's truly helpful, uplifting, inspiring, and fun. And we are grateful for our friendship, grateful for the love that we share and the love that we are. In gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. I love that. Yes, let's have a conversation that's inspiring and fun and helpful. And I'm just going to go over onto my telephone, onto any comments to see who's here. We are on Zoom right now, so I can't actually see your comments here where we are, but I can see you over here.
You know, while you're looking that up, I'd like to just share something. Lisa, when I was in ministerial school, you and I've talked about this, but when I was in ministerial school, I went to the Holmes Institute, the Agape campus, and then we switched. Agape started its own ministerial school in Los Angeles. Agape, founded by Michael Beckwith. And when I was in ministerial school, I had thought it would be this great mystical teaching experience, but it was really very intellectual. It wasn't my thing ultimately, but my favorite time in ministerial school was we got to explore a curriculum on any topic that we were interested in, and mine was healing. And because I just have a passion for this, I feel that this is something that so many spiritual students, they are afraid to really call forth a healing. They are afraid to really stand in their power. And it's understandable. I mean, that's how I used to feel. That's how you used to feel. So we totally get that. But there are teachers that have gone before us, and they have demonstrated, like Jesus, demonstrated that tremendous healing is possible and that it is done at the level of the mind. And that when there are two or more gathered in the name and the nature of that perfect love that we already are, this is our best opportunity for healing at all levels. And so, whether it's physical healing, mental healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing, we may never really fully understand it in our experience of human race consciousness. But that doesn't mean we can't have tremendous healing. Just because we can't intellectually comprehend it doesn't mean that we cannot experience extraordinary, miraculous healing. And I really feel that for the light workers of the world, whether you're a grandmother who's enjoying retirement, whether you are a millennial who's got a job in marketing, no matter where you are, if you know that you're called to shine the light and share the light, and there's a lot of feedback on the line. I don't know what that's about, but and
There's a lot of people here. I can see the comments.
oh, good.
Yeah.
If you feel called to live your life in service to the light, then I really feel like it's our spiritual duty to call forth miraculous healing, not just for ourselves, but for our friends, our family, even that person that we're standing in line next to at Starbucks who seems to be annoyed or frustrated or sad or whatever, that wherever we go, we're calling forth the healing. I just feel this is so important because A Course in Miracles says, ask and it is given because it already has been given.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the consciousness we can walk in, even if we don't feel, as you and I've talked about many times, confident and qualified. You feel like, well, how can I do that when I'm struggling to pay my rent? How can I do that when I've got this illness that I'm struggling with, or I've been depressed for 5 years? How can I do that? Well, just start where you are. Just be willing. That's it. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that first.
That's so awesome, because that's really what it is. Start where you are. And, a couple ideas came up as you were just expressing yourself of that there's teachers that have gone before us and have shown us the way. And my experience with A Course in Miracles is when I thought I wasn't experiencing results, it was still because I was trying to control the experience. Like I wasn't really ready to let go entirely. So one of the things I was thinking about as we come on this call, and I'm going to make a very huge sweeping generalization, and I don't often do this. And I know it's, generalizations are not true for everyone, but so one of the things I was thinking, I find that women more than men have control issues. And one of the things that I just want to say about that is, and of course men have them too, but the control issues come from us really thinking we have to control the environment so that we can keep ourselves safe, so that we can feel loved and appreciated, and that if we just let go totally, things won't get done. And so it really is this place. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. Bill's helping me out. Love you, baby.
Love you too.
Whenever I meet someone, and I was top of the control freak list, I really felt I have to keep everything under control. And if I didn't do it, my whole world was going to fall apart. I did not trust this material at all, even though in my heart I knew that it was true. And when I meet people nowadays that write me the letters, I can see that they still have that fear. It's like, I don't dare to fully enter into this work because I might lose my relationship, or my partner will be upset, or I might lose my job, or you're afraid of the unknown. So I'm grateful there's teachers that have gone before us that say, come, it's safe. come with me. It's totally safe, because my experience, it's all or nothing. It literally is all or nothing. You have to really say, I'm in, I'm ready to know my true identity. I love that you put that in the prayer, as love. And that's where I'm at right now. And this is why I'm excited to get together with a group, because I don't know what's going to happen when we're together, but I'm being called right now to be 100%. Like, I'm calling for the ones listening to this broadcast right now who are ready to identify completely as Christ, completely as love, completely as the light. I had a call with our Living in Purpose group this week, and someone who's experiencing a lot of pain, and she's been experiencing pain for years, and she's so full on. She's just so lovely and so generous, which many light workers are. Like, they still want to give, but they're still holding on to their identity a little. And she said, you can't just say the body's not real. It's real on some level. And I said, it's not real on any level. At no single instant does the body exist at all. There's your problem. And Jesus is inviting us to really focus our attention and awareness away from the body, away from the pain, away from the problem. Stop trying to heal anything, because when you're trying to heal something, you're still identifying with this thing. Accept the truth of what you are and simply be about it. And why I like a physical space, like I was just in Mexico with a group, I see some of them online, is that it is an unknown where we're going. This new space that we're entering into, being led in this world. No, I don't know about the space. You don't know about the space, but we're all willing to go together and to allow ourselves to be shown the next step and the next step and the next step. So I'd love to actually open that conversation up. Like, at no single instant does the body exist at all. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
Well, it certainly seems like it does, because we get so focused on it, and but it is a distraction, and we can shift our thinking around it. I think for me, Lisa, one tool that's been super, super helpful is that I don't have to know how my mind will be healed. I don't have to intellectually understand it. I feel like I'm being repetitive here, but it's so important when it comes to any kind of healing, whether it's your finances or your weight or the pain levels, or what. We don't have to understand how it could possibly be healed, but we must be willing. We must really be willing. And we all have in our awareness, resistance to the very things that we desire most, or we would have them. That is the bottom line. If we didn't have resistance and reluctance, we would have them. Now, why do we have resistance and reluctance? We can ask that question, but we also don't have to know the answer to that either. We don't have to know all these things on an intellectual level, because our higher self, our I am presence, knows everything already. All we have to do is really be willing to remember what we already know. Mm-hmm. And so that's it. Of Course in Miracles is so clear to us, and I appreciate the clarity so much, because it says that we can learn things through experience, or we can just remember the truth. So we can learn through pain, or we can learn through joy. That's our free will choice, through pain or through joy. And when we learn through pain, we're in control. Mm-hmm. That's why it's painful. Yep. That is exactly why it's painful. Yep.
Totally. I'd love to ask a question to everyone here if you want to post it in the comment area, because I love all the tools, and I know Jennifer Hadley has a ton of them. And I know that healing is always here now. There's nothing to heal. So we're simply accepting the truth of what we are. I love what you just said about that, Jennifer. Like, we can either learn through experience, or we can really just accept the truth of what we are and in joy, in celebration, in rejoicing. So sickness is isolation, sickness is separation, sickness is identification with the body. So my experience, because I experienced sickness for the last several years and tried everything to heal it with no success. So I was trying to heal symptoms, really. I was trying to heal the mind, to heal the body, still identifying with the body and still saying I'm not a body. So it was all confused all over the map. But there was a true sincerity, like there was just a true longing and desire to really come into this space where I was identified with this light within, which is one with all. And there was so much fear about just being myself, expressing myself. Like I was really finally towards the end when I really just said, okay, I'm going the whole distance, and I don't know what that looks like. And a lot of fear came up. Like I thought I was dying, you know. I just saw it like I don't know what this is. And I realized how much there really is a veil that we hide behind, like a wall of protection and safety, and we hide inside the body. Like we have created so many defenses so that we feel safe here in the world, but there's no safety here. There's none of that. It really is all or nothing. And that was the point when it was like I had an ancient memory that I truly was sent here for this work. And all of us have been sent here by God to come to the point in the journey, whenever that may be, and it may have already happened for you, it may be here today, where you have a memory that you really were sent here on a mission. And that mission is to remember who you are. And so all we're doing, all the Course in Miracles is I love it. It says the goal of this course is to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. So we look at the blocks. What are the blocks that are in place in you that are blocking the awareness of love's presence? You don't have to make love's presence be made manifest. It's already manifest, but there's blocks in place. Fear, guilt, attack, grievances, hatred. And what is it? Trauma. Like, I love that Corinne Zupko is going to be here. Anxiety. Like, all the things that we have put in place to just survive here in this world. So it really is something where it takes courage to take that step. So I'd love to just ask anyone to post on the board, do you feel like you're hiding? Like where you're not in your true expression, where you're still in fear? And I, as a teacher, and I know Jennifer, you're the same, is don't try to be spiritual about it. Because we can't be helped if you're trying to be spiritual about it. I have no problems. If you're putting a Course in Miracles concept on it, you know, it's like that saying, you're putting sugar on shit. You know, you really got to go deep in. And that's why I love you so much, Jennifer, because you're the deep dive girl. Like, you're like, okay, we're going in. Let's do this. Let's like really just go in, let it get messy.
Yeah, let's be real.
Let's be real.
In every sense of the word. Yeah. You know, let's be authentic. Let's be our true selves. Let's have courage, even though we're afraid. We'll hold on to each other. Yeah, it may be messy, you know. I mean, it seems strange to me, but this is what I feel is called to. So you're married. I'm not married. But, in a romantic, intimate relationship of the highest order, like a really deeply fulfilling romantic partnership, very often you have a strong sexual relationship. And it even in the greatest spiritual ecstasy, sexual ecstasy, it's going to be messy. It's going to be sloppy. You could get hurt. All kinds of crazy stuff can happen. But you if you are willing to go for it, you can feel this incredible connection with spirit, this incredible connection with another person. So the reason why that came to me is just sometimes it can feel gross or ugly or crazy or freaky or confusing or any number of things that are upsetting. But you know what is that? Sometimes you have to break a lot of eggs to make a cake or something like that, right? We have to be willing to not be in control, like you were saying before. It's funny. I don't think you and I have ever talked about control freakness, because I was a card carrying control freak. And I used to, when I really realized, okay, I have a serious problem. Like I really have a major issue of ruining my life here. I'm destroying my relationships. I'm miserable, and I hate myself. That kind of thing. I said, God, they should have a 12-step program for these control freaks. You know, we need help. It's an addictive mental state. And then I started thinking about 12-step meetings for control freaks. And then I thought, who would run the meeting? Oh, no.
That's hilarious. I'll run it. I'll control it. That's funny.
So we have
because I get a lot of mail and I'm so grateful for it. And it's just a theme I've been seeing. And it's not that anyone sets out to control the environment, but we've been taught that, like, we just hold it together so it doesn't fall apart, so that you can feel safe, so that you can really just survive here. And so that is a block. That is, to me, one of the biggest blocks, and it's based entirely on fear.
And that's why it's so important that we come together. Because when we come together, it's just so much easier to do the forgiveness. It's so much easier to look at these things when you're sitting there with other people who are willing to look at it with you without judgment. Yeah. I mean, that's a fundamental thing. I know you have that too in all my events, all my classes. Everything we're doing is we're going to put aside our judgments here. We're not going to have opinions about this. We're just going to look at it the way God looks at it. We're going to look at it from a higher perspective, and we're just going to be with it. And yeah, people may talk about things that they feel really uncomfortable with, but let's get in there, because left to our own devices, there's a lot of people who are living alone or feeling alone, left to their own devices. They're thinking about forgiveness. They're thinking about spiritual practice, and they say things like, oh, if I only had more time, I would do more spiritual practice. But that's BS. It's just not true. I've seen people who had, for one reason, they lost their job. Did they do more spiritual practice? No, they didn't. People who retired, did they do more spiritual practice? No, they didn't. People who've broken their arms and their legs and had time off from work, did they do more spiritual? No, they didn't. So we tell ourselves these fantasies that in another dimension, in a different illusion, I would do things differently. But this is where getting together in person it helps us to just be real together. It's the two or more gathered. It's so powerful.
Yeah, I actually just received an email from someone, because it also happens in the opposite, where people will say, I don't have time, I don't have money, I really want to, however, and then fill in the blank. When I have my summer holiday, when the kids go off to college, then I'll come to your retreat, or then I'll do this, then I'll do that. So this woman, she's she works a full-time job, and she just is so much into the work. She's doing the work, but she can't take time off. And she's been wanting to come to all of my retreats forever. And she just says, I can't because I have to work and I have a couple weeks off this summer. Well, then she just got sick. She just got diagnosed with something and has to have a surgery. And she's still staying grounded. She's really doing the work. But now she's like, okay, give me the information about this spring clearing retreat. And I want to come to Boston in May, and tell me about Mexico next February. So often it really does take a life-threatening, life or death situation where you recognize you don't have any time.
Yeah.
When you can really recognize, like, okay, what's important to me and what are my priorities? Like, I go to Joe Dispenza and his 1 week healing retreats, and they are sold out every single time. You know why? Because those are life or death situations in that room. Those are people who have been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, who cannot walk, and he gives them hope. That's what healers do. They really show you there are scientific, spiritual practices that are available. Like, there's this woman, Kathy Deegan, in the room right now. Hey, Kathy. And she has a clinic up in Ontario, Canada. And she has a very similar mission to what you and I have, Jennifer, and I'm sure many others in this room. But it's like frustration over the medical institutions that just only heal symptoms. And people are just left thinking there's no hope for me. And now we're called on as miracle workers and healers to bring the light, to really say, look, this is what happened to me, and now this is where I am. And you don't have to suffer. You do not have to suffer. And we're carrying that now of activating people to step in now to what is it that you're being called to do. Don't wait. And that sickness has a huge benefit. Like, you get days off, you get love, you get attention. So to really look at, like, did she really have to get a diagnosis in order to take some time off? No. But we're so afraid. And the mind just goes, I really can't come. I really don't have time. I really don't have money. And we just immediately shut down every possibility in this quantum world of infinite possibilities, where, not a lot of people know this, although I do say it, and I know you say it, but when people write to me and they say, I have no money, can you help me? The answer is always yes. But we don't live like that. We just stay in isolation and we think, I'm just going to work this out myself and make it happen. And it's not that I will give people money, but when they write to me, there's that union, there's the joining. I've seen it from you, Jennifer, in the last couple of weeks when people wrote to you and said, I want to come, I have no money. I saw what you wrote back to them. Doors are always open. Let us help you. And in one situation, you offered to help, and she said no. Like, that's what happens. Like, when you really can say, I guess I don't really want it, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But this is such an exciting time for me in the world, because Jesus really is calling for light workers right now. He's calling for healers that are focusing on true healing, which is to identify with your true self, the light that you are.
Well, you're making such an important point, Lisa, because, I better not forget. That's why we have payment plans for our retreats. I've never had anybody stiff us on a payment plan, but that's what we do, because we understand. And if people, so they still have to pay their hotel, however that works out with the meals. But for the retreat itself, we can do a payment plan. We can do an extended payment plan. That's what we do. We take donations, and sometimes people pay for somebody else to go. We have situations like that as well. So we do everything we can to help people who sincerely would like to join us. And what you were also talking about there is you're talking about the journey that we all, every single one of us, without exception, go through. And that is the journey that is laid out in the development of trust in the Manual for Teachers, in chapter 4, the section on the characteristics of the teachers of God. We must go through that development of trust, where if we don't, of our own free will, choose to be willing to only value that which is valuable, then Spirit will seem to take things away from us, not to punish us, but to help us see that has no value. I've been fired from jobs that I wasn't willing to quit. You know, I've had boyfriends cut me off that I wasn't willing to get out of that relationship.
Yeah.
I've had friends cut me off that I didn't realize that this was not a healthy relationship. I've had all kinds of situations where things seem to be taken away from me, or where like I remember one time when it was like I had zero money. I was really, like, my job was taken, everything just pulled out from under me. But that was when I really decided, okay, now I'm just going to focus on ministry. Mm-hmm. And God, you're going to have to figure this out, because I'm going to place my trust in you.
Yeah.
And that changed my life for 100% good. Were there times when I was terrified? Yes.
Yeah.
But am I terrified about money anymore? No.
Yeah.
No, I am not. And when I don't know how something's going to work out and it seems precarious, I just say, well, God, I can't wait to see how this is going to resolve. And I stand back and I wait for what I'm to be guided to do. And I know you live the same exact way. We had to learn how to live that way. And we learned it by things being taken away from us, so it seemed. And Jesus is so clear in A Course in Miracles that everything works together for our good. There is no exception. And just living that moment by moment is a transformational teaching in and of itself.
You just reminded me of a couple of stories. I mean, you and I have the same story, but I was remembering two things. When I went to Endeavor Academy, I mean, I was living in New York City working in publishing, and I kept getting just this really clear guidance. I needed to go there, and I didn't want to. I didn't know what that place was. I thought it was a cult. I was like, no way. And I couldn't see my resistance. I couldn't see like how much I was controlling for things to go a different way. We ask for a prayer, and then the answer comes and we don't like the form of it. We're like, no, I don't want it that way. And I fought it for about a year until I went. I finally decided, why not? What am I fighting for? And I went. Within walking through those doors, I knew I was going to move there. It was instant. I went back to New York, gave all my stuff away. This isn't everyone's path, but this was my path. It was the best thing I ever did. And then when it was time to leave the academy, I didn't want to leave the academy. So I moved into this bed and breakfast in Wisconsin near Madison. Beautiful, huge, gorgeous new house on 10 acres and a lake. Everything was provided for me. I had money coming in for the first time in years. Everything was provided, groceries, you name it. The voice kept saying to me, time to go. But I was comfortable there now. And I was like, nope, this is where I'm to be. I'm being taken care of. And the voice was so strong, like, you're done here, Lisa. Time to go back to New Hampshire. And I didn't want to do it. Well, guess what happened? Everything that could possibly break started breaking. Everything, including my health, my car, everything, computer, electronics, you name it, it started breaking. And finally one day, I remember talking to my dad on the phone, and everyone kept saying, come home, come back home. We'll pay for you. We'll help you get here. No, this is where I'm to be. On the day I made the decision, I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm going home, everything started working again. Everything was in the flow again. And so this is the place where I really invite everyone to really look at it. Are there things that are not working in your life? And what are you receiving as guidance and you're resisting? Like, what is it? Because we all have a part to play in God's plan. Like, we all have abilities that Jesus is saying can and must be developed. Jesus is saying, I need healers, I need teachers, I need physicians of the Lord, I need light workers, I need helpers. Who's in? Who's all in? And, my hand always goes straight up now because I'm like, I'm in. Because I remember some memory in me that this is what I came to do. And I know everyone watching this talk right now has the same memory. And so it's only a matter of time until you really answer the call. It's not that you're going to hear the call, you're already hearing the call. But the mind then thinks the call is to go get a better job, better relationship, take another course, do another something. The call that is going out is to say yes, yes. And it's not even that I'm ready. No one's ready. No one. Like just Jesus called the fishermen and said, let's go. He didn't do anything except, you ready? Let's go. And, this is the place where it really does take courage and trust. I love, Jennifer, that you mentioned that, the development of trust, because in my mind, this work is totally disruptive. It will dismantle your entire world. Everything does start shifting and flying. You are in this place where it's like, I didn't ask for this, but you can stand still and go, well, I did ask for a new experience, and haha, this is what it looks like. Okay. And then to actually find your mighty companions, that we have found each other, like all of us that are here. I see some people coming also. Linda Soto's here. Tambra just made a decision, I think. Let's see, who else? I saw one other person here.
I want to share this with the shared screen here if I can.
Suzanne's coming.
Where's my share?
So I'm going to put a link on this page also when this broadcast is done, where people can see the details and join us.
Where did it go?
What are you looking for?
I wanted to share this image with you. It's so fun. Here it is. There.
Oh yeah, I love this one. That's hilarious. This is what it feels like when we first give our life over to the Holy Spirit. That's hilarious. I posted that years ago. That is the funniest thing. She's like, wee! This kid is like, get me off this ride. That's hilarious.
Well, that's how I felt in the beginning. Yeah. I totally felt exactly like that.
Yeah.
Like I was going to jet puke. Yeah. And
that's so funny.
I know, but we have to remember that the higher self is like, yes, finally. Yeah. So for me, one of the main things was, in order to be free, we have to confront our fears. Mm-hmm. We don't have to confront them all. It's really just one fear. And it's just that we're not good enough. And that is not actually true. Mm-hmm. So it's like the fear of the boogeyman under the bed. But we do have to turn on the light and look under the bed. Yeah. So we have to turn on the light and look in our heart and see that no matter how mean or belligerent or unkind or foolish or whatever it is that we think we've been or done, we are still completely and totally adorable. Mm-hmm. Adorable. And that all Spirit sees is that beautiful, adorable self. created in the image and likeness of itself, of the creator. And that's the truth of our being. And so we do have to confront the just that pattern, that habit of being afraid. And so you and I have done some definitely deep, difficult work, but now we don't live in fear anymore.
Yep.
And it's not because we're special, it's just because we did it. We did that. Everyone who does it goes through that, and then now they're not afraid anymore. You know, I mean, I have to leave for an appointment, but I'm not afraid or worried about it, you know. And
well, you talk about the habit of being afraid, and that's, to me, that's what the Course in Miracles is about, is creating new habits, like strengthening our motivation for change. How would you be if you were totally healed? Like, what would life be like then? Because we live in certain patterns when we're sick and afraid and angry and holding grievances.
that's right.
And that's our routine. That's our life.
Yep.
And we're being invited to change, to really say, okay, what would that be like if time doesn't exist, and it doesn't, and that we can step into the future now? Like, we can collapse time. This is how it's done. Because we're not bodies. Like, the wholeness that we are, the peace that envelops everything is here now. What would you be doing? How would you be showing up? Like, what then what? And to just step in. That's why, like, all the programs that I love are let's try this out as an experiment, as just a game we're going to play. And then you can see for yourself as a direct experience that it works. And one of the things, the biggest change for me in my separation and isolation, was that I tried to do everything myself. Like, I just thought, I'm gonna do this by myself. I'm gonna amaze everyone. I'm just gonna get it done. Everyone's gonna love me. And that's the problem. So my healing was to start asking for help, to start really joining with my brother and saying, hey, I have no money. Can you help? Hey, I really want to do this thing. I don't know where to start. Can you help? Hey, you know, and that's, to me, where we're moving out of the isolation. We're moving out of separation. We're gaining clarity, and we're coming back into our wholeness. And health is nothing more than inner peace. That's it. So everyone listening to this call, you're already healed. You're already, right? You're already at that space of inner peace. So I know you have to go. I want to just thank everyone for being here. And I'm going to post the link if anybody wants to come and join us. Little spontaneous road trip you want to take, and just, it's going to be amazing. And you want to close us in a final prayer?
I do. And I just like to say too that, so we're going to be at this big, beautiful resort, and we're probably going to have a lot of it to ourselves. They have a wonderful indoor pool. They have a spa there, and it's it's at the edge of the Catskills in New York. And so you can get to it from so many different places and airports and it's easy to drive to. And we're going to do some deep, deep forgiveness work. We're going to do some work about really getting fear out of the way so that we're not motivated by fear anymore. We're inspired by the spirit. We're going to do some Kundalini yoga, not because of the exercise factor, but because it's really cleansing and clearing to our whole field. And we're going to laugh, and who knows, we might do some dancing. And
I will definitely do dancing. I'm going to be there. They'll be dancing. I'm bringing my music.
All right. So yeah, so we're going to have a lot of fun, but we are going to go very deep. And the idea is that we're going to do a clearing the mental and emotional clutter, so that we can go home in a place of feeling rebooted. Mm-hmm. Rebooted. All right.
I'm super excited.
I
If I
know.
wasn't already coming, I'd be signed up in this webinar.
I know. I was talking about it with Corinne yesterday. I got to have brunch with her, which was lovely.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how powerful and fun this is going to be. So, a prayer to send us on our way. So grateful and thankful that the infinite intelligence that we are goes before us, behind us, above us, below us, and it makes the way smooth and clear. What I absolutely know is that all those who desire healing are having it, that it is happening now. Healing is happening now. We are rising in spirit now. We are opening ourselves and liberating ourselves from all seeming lack of love. There is no lack of love. So we're opening ourselves to that flow of love. We're allowing ourselves to be that vehicle for spirit to live a life of profound love and joy. This is the truth of our being, and we're grateful and thankful to accept it now. We share the benefits with everyone because we're one with them. All boats rise on this tide of love. In gratitude, we simply know it's done, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much. And if anybody would like, I'm also going to post, Jennifer and I did an interview this week on her Unity radio show. So I will post that also in the comments here. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Jennifer. We just really look forward to seeing you there. And just thank you so much for joining us on this journey to bring light to the darkness, which is really all we're here for. I love you.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye. Bye, everybody.